Happy New Year. So we are now for everybody on the 14th day of the Days of Miracles. And it's a miracle that we are all still here. And it's a miracle that we have Geshe back with us. It's such a great pleasure. I still remember Geshe joining us last year for the Days of Miracles. And I have, very inspiring memories of that session. And it's such a pleasure to have you back, Geshe. And I know Geshe is so busy that Geshe makes time in his busy schedule for us today. Thank you so much, Geshe.
Thank you.
So Geshe, last time I remember Geshe said that you were so happy that this is a rather a little bit informal session.
Okay.
We would love to have a very formal session as well, but I remember
that definitely. That's the best.
About relaxing a little bit and telling us a little bit of, not of course not story time, but in a way inspiring story time. So we would keep it today light as well, and so that Geshe can relax and we can relax. Geshe, see my mind being the opposite from relaxed right now. So Geshe, does Geshe mind if I introduce maybe first the movie and so give a little introduction? Is that okay, Geshe?
Yeah. Yes, no problem. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Geshe, for your patience. So welcome everybody back to Tushita, to the 14th day of the Days of Miracles. This year we have 2 more to come. Usually they call it the 15 Days of Miracles. This year we have 1 extra, a perk, so to say. Today we have Geshe Tenzin Zopala as our guest, and Geshe himself in his own right. Now Geshe will not like to hear that, but is of course an amazing teacher, very inspiring, and we're so happy to have Geshe back. This is a question and answer session, so it's based on watching the movie, The Unmistaken Child. And we all sent you the link, everybody who was registered, so we hope you had some inspiring movie watching time on the weekend, since people, we're all watching movies, so then some inspiring movie watching. And we would like to thank, I'm not sure if he's here, but the director of the movie, Nati Baratz from Israel, very much in providing us with a movie and giving us the permission again that we could send it out to you. And if you haven't watched it yet, the link is still valid till the Day of Miracles. So until Friday, please keep watching. Then it will be kind of made invalid because of copyrights and things like that. Yes. So in the movie, you probably saw Geshe. It's basically introducing us to many life stories. So one story is, of course, Geshe-la's master and our great master, Geshe Lama Konchok's life. So Geshe Lama Konchok was one of the great Mahasiddhis of our lifetimes. And Geshe Zopala was his closest disciple. So then Geshe Lama Konchok spent around 26 years in isolated retreats in the Himalayas, and then was called to Kopan. That itself is an amazing story, I think, how Geshe was called, so to say, without telephone and internet and all these things, to Kopan, and then spent many years at Kopan Monastery, which is our main monastery from our organization in Nepal. And then Geshe Lama Konchok passed away in 2001. And the movie shows very, very nicely Geshe Zopala's search for his great master. And I think it's a very heart-touching and inspiring story. So I think, Geshe Zopala, all our hearts went out with you, looking for this child. And of course, we cannot imagine in what position you were in, also the great position of responsibility to finding the right reincarnation. But I think it's a very touching story. And of course, many lessons to learn for us. So then, one of the last scenes, I think, is that Geshe found the little child, and then how His Holiness the Dalai Lama recognized it as a right reincarnation of Geshe Lama Konchok. And I think one of the last scenes was in Amravati, I believe, Geshe during the color, when His Holiness conferred the color chakra initiation. I remember being in a tent, and Lama Lundrup, who was the abbot, many of you know Lama Lundrup, the late abbot of Kopa Monastery, took the little child and gave us all bum blessings, like our behind, bum blessings. And he said, "Come, all you Westerners, get some bum blessings from this child." I still have that memory, and it was quite amazing to see that whole process. So this movie, of course, raises many questions, and it's hard to cover them all in one session. I wrote down the questions I got from you, and so of course, what I thought in preparation to that session is that sometimes when we watch the movie and we might be, living our busy lives in the West or in India, as busy 21st century Westerners or Indians, then we see this movie and we go like, oh yeah, it's something like in the Himalayas, with caves and Mahasiddhas and great meditators, but how does that relate to my everyday busy life here in the West? Something nice to watch for the weekend, but nothing really to do with me maybe, or nothing really something, yes, it's inspiring, but how could I do that? And so I wanted to kind of get a little bit the connection, Geshe, between this amazing story and our everyday busy Western Indian 21st century life. I don't know. Does that make sense, Geshe?
Oh, yes. Huge.
So, of course, it brings up many questions about reincarnations and miracles and cities and divinations. I mean, there are so many scenes where we go like, oh, really? And they seem like miracles. I mean, we are in the days of miracles. So what are miracles? Because miracles always kind of implies that it's something magic, has nothing to do with cause and effect. It's just something that happens without any reason. So I wanted to kind of get that circle a little bit today, discussing, certain concepts that seem to us like the fairy tales, reincarnation, especially for people in the West, maybe not so much for Indians, but people in the West, they see reincarnation as something, in the Himalayas, they believe in that, but we here, maybe not so much. So to cover all these topics today, Geshe. So now I talked a lot.
Okay.
So maybe I give the microphone first to Geshe for motivation and introduction. Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you. So first of all, hope all of you are keeping well and had a meaningful or having meaningful Losar. It's in this difficult time, quite strange to pronounce Happy New Year. The world is experiencing unbelievable distractions. So I think maybe the right word, I feel, maybe meaningful Losar. Meaningful with virtuous prayers and practices. So So before we start the question and answer, we take some moments, reflect and feel for those who are in tremendous sufferings, especially under the oppressions of war, natural disaster, and diseases. That which facing in global level, as well as even in the individual family. Some family may be going through suffering of oppressions from maybe families or friends or neighbors or strangers or enemy, whoever they may be, or abuse, or diseases, losing their loved ones. So, of course, all sentient beings are experiencing the nature of samsara, the contaminated aggregates, which is very much in suffering, even though our ordinary mind don't realize it. But the actual fact is the the suffering of pervasive compounded phenomena. But then on top of that, even for the common mind, ordinary mind, that can feel and get affected, those are the suffering of change and the suffering of pain, which is exactly the suffering that experienced by those innocent children and women and men right very now. The war that is happening in between, in Ukraine. So yes, so try to for a few moments try to put oneself in that position. Then try to express as sincere, wholehearted as possible of compassion, love. Then send our prayers and virtues and merits and all the good deeds, especially by dedicating our rest of our life in accumulating causes and conditions for world peace, virtuous environment. Even though just maybe one person, but still is very crucial. It's great necessary. And it is a huge contribution, even it may be just one person taking the commitment to work for the peace of the sentient being. If possible, then physically, engage and condition for the peace. If not, at least verbally try to pronounce as much as possible. If not, at least we are absolutely capable and we have full freedom to cultivate in our heart and gather as much as virtuous energy frequencies, then send that frequency of virtue and good energy to rest of the sentient being and rest of the world through your dedication. So I think that we have no limitations. We can reach out to rest of the numberless sentient beings, and no question about reaching out to those who are right now in the human realm, those who are going through tremendous suffering. So we stay in silence for a few moments and do reflection on that, then generate love and compassion and dedicate our life. And also this very session, may it be the complete cause for numberless sentient beings, freedom from oceans of samsaric suffering, and it is causes the negative karma and the delusions. And particularly, may this session be the complete cause for the peace and happiness of the people in Ukraine, in Russia, in around the world, wherever there's conflict. So then after that, maybe we can recite few rounds of Guru Rinpoche, Guru Pema Sambhava's mantra, which usually one of very, very effective to contribute to the peace and the healing of conflicts, like war, etc. And especially our precious Guru, Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, through his observation, also suggested Guru Rinpoche's practice for this war to end. So we do like that. Okay, so we meditate for a few moments. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so yes, so in relation to the movie, there are so many important points. Just to name a few, one of the important subject is about life and rebirth, which is very complex topic, very subtle to apprehend. Yeah. Very much, that we assert based on the propositions or the or the omniscience, statements of there's existence of life and rebirth, very much like that. when ourselves really to realizing there's a definite of life and rebirth, definitely realizing the existence of rebirth can be quite hard. Unless that achieve certain level of clairvoyance. There are many different types of clairvoyance. The clairvoyance that which the highest is the omniscient, which see entire existence, in one moment directly. Then there are clairvoyance that which see certain number of future lifetimes or certain number of past lifetimes. There are also clairvoyance that which can see one lifetime before, one lifetime after. Even in the religious content, there are some religious, other than Buddhism, there are religion who assert life and rebirth. One before and one after life and rebirth, or one after life and was a rebirth, but not having previous life. So there are many assertions, and many of these assertions very much could be based on the earlier great siddhas, great meditators, sadhus, who achieve certain level of clairvoyance. Maybe that could be the reason. But as far as concerned with the Buddhist assertion of infinite before life and infinite future life, and unceasing of the continuum of our being, unceasing of our continuum of our being. So that means as a being, there never dies. Being never dies. Human dies, animal dies, but being never dies. So when we achieve the state of enlightenment, then there we realize that we in fact by nature exist, immortal death. But until then, we have to assert or understand based on the scriptures, or based on, as I mentioned before, certain degree of clairvoyance, etc. So yeah, so therefore in the movie you see that we have to depend on the omniscient beings, the enlightened beings, like such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama and like Lama Zopa Rinpoche, for them to determine whether this particular person is the continuum of his past life. Ordinary people like myself, there's no capability to understand that. Even I may feel connection to somebody, or I may feel liking to somebody, or feel that he could, he is very similar to the previous one. There's very much could be emotion. In the emotion, may make a judgment. So therefore, like in the movie, I never take a responsibility to recognize the late master's reincarnation. I'm just one of the team to follow the search that directed by the omniscient one, based on the prediction of the direction where his consciousness have his consciousness have rendered on the new body, the directions, then the sign of the name of the family, the parent, the area. It is amazing. For ordinary people like me, I can say that this is only possible by the omniscient. In the common ordinary life, this master never been to that kind of place. Never know this kind of this particular people in that valley, but they really can able to give you a very clear direction. Then astrology. Again, the astrology is also very much determined by the omniscient one, determined by deities. Deities are the Buddhas, or at least Arya beings. As a Buddhist practitioner, then whenever we do observation, when we invoke Buddhas in the deity, it has to be, even it is a protector, but it has to be at least Arya being, not a worldly god, not dependent on worldly gods. Even the worldly gods has the capability to give certain predictions, which quite common in the world they use. But as a Buddhist, and if someone really know the Buddha Dharma and practicing refuge, then all those deities of the divination, like an example, Pandit Lama is one of very common and well-known deity when we relate to observations. You see, even in relation to His Holiness Dalai Lama's, the 13 Dalai Lama's reincarnation, one of the prediction is very much directed by Pandit Lama. And Pandit Lama, the manifestation of the protector is Arya being, who abide in the 10 bhumi, just very much before the path of normal learning or the path of enlightenment. So like that. So even in this movie, The Unmistaken Child, the divinations that we seek from the astrologers, their meditational deities for the observations are all Arya beings, like such as Pandit Lama, Hayagiwa, Manjushri, etc. So, yeah. So in any way, there is a definite, how to say, by experiencing the journey, in relation to Geshe Lama Koncho and the recognized reincarnation, very much like my personal self, relating, the true life of the continuum. Yeah, there's no doubt, even though I have no clairvoyance, absolutely no doubt, and without engaging emotion, this emotional kind of attachment, without engaging that, just being very honest, very ordinary, and not much of the subjective determination. It's more of the from the object side, from Geshe Lama Kunjo and from Punzo Rinpoche's side, their way of thinking and mainly their way of thinking. If the physical is, of course, one is old man and another one is just a new, little boy, isn't it? But then their energy and their motivations, their thinkings, then their memory, there's a lot of spiritual memories that which the newborn baby can able to remember, which the past life used to remember without learning, especially when he was 6-7 years old, or even before that. But my direct encounters is start from 6 years old, 6, 7, 8, around that period. So many amazing things. Even before he was get ordination from His Holiness, while he was in Amarvati, that's the tent where we share for a week or something like that. And his sleeping pattern exactly like the late Geshe Lama Kuncho. He want to go bed around 10 something, then wake up by 3 o'clock, before 3 o'clock. Then the moment he wake up 3 o'clock, then he do all the prayers. Geshe La used to do his daily prayers and meditations. And this little boy, of course, Geshe Lama Kunjo's time, he will not ask you to on the light and this and that. He will do himself. But then this little boy, wake you up by, before 3 o'clock and say, on the light. Then after that, they say, okay, you go to sleep. So, you're on the light as attendant. Then after that, you go to sleep because you need sleep. So he carry on doing chantings. There are not all the prayers that Geshe La does that he also recite, but there are certain prayers which he never learned in this life, so he recite that. But at least from 3 o'clock until everybody wake up, he sit on the bed to do practice, chantings, and sitting in the kind of very much like not really in meditation posture like that, but sitting like that. And sometimes he lie down, but then he still do the chanting, So that kind of thing. Then recognizing many of, there are certain objects, certain things that belong to Geshe Lama Kuncho in the village that even most of the family was forgotten, except there's my old auntie. There's nun, Auntie Chotrul. She remembers, she knows. Otherwise, rest of the other family of Rinpoche's parents, they don't even remember. They don't know. And the box that was keep not in their house, keep in the Auntie Chotrul's house. Auntie Chotrul is one of the earlier disciple of Geshe Lama Kuncho. Who very much dedicate her life similar to Lama Kuncho's way of life. One of the nuns that from the first disciple who did 8 years of retreat, and she's being nun that she pledged, rest of her life to be in retreat, be in practice retreat, which is usually Geshe Lama Kuncho used to, relate to his students in Himalaya. If you are Sangha, then you have to dedicate the rest of your life in retreat, so that Geshe La will guide them, teach them, initiate them. As a layperson, minimum 8 years has to be around his cave to practice until gain some kind of sign, then they can go back to their family. So the Auntie Chotrul is one of them. So then later she, after Geshe Lama Kuncho left to Kopan, the cave was occupied by her, and she had done more than 10,000, the Vajrayogini retreat, which is about 3 times of great Vajrayogini retreats, and over 2,000 sets of Nyungne. Any children have done Nyungne more than Geshe Lama Kuncho did. So anyway, so that's my sidetrack. So yeah, so she knows. And this little boy, age of 1.5 or 2, already know where his things are kept. He know the box, he know what things are there. And he said, this is my belonging, etc. like that. Okay, so maybe I stop here. So it's supposed to be question answer. So then there's another point, another important point that I felt is very sophisticated topic in Buddhism, Guru devotion. That also, I'm not a good practitioner, but I learned Buddha's teaching, and I try to follow strictly what Lamrim teach, at least the beginning one, the Guru devotion practice, and making a commitment that may I submit myself for the rest of my lifetime until I achieve enlightenment, under your guide, under your protection, may I be your servant, may I offer myself in your service, you as my ultimate refuge, like that. And then we make usual prayer, may all the lifetime, may I be guided by, perfect Guru, and ever able to enjoy the Dharma, until I achieve the state of the Vajradhara, isn't it? So from my side, the respect, the devotion, and the submission are able to, remain equal from his past life as well as this present life. That I can confidently say from my side. I don't see as one ordinary little boy. I may conventionally, treat him like a little boy, but my devotion is exactly the same devotion that I have for the previous one. Then, from the Guru side, I felt that not only one lifetime, but even his, 2 lifetime is being my Guru. So I felt very blessed, and I continue to pray, and I have a full confidence that there's a definite existence of future lifetimes, and the continuations of the being never cease, and I always pray that may I ever be guided, may I ever be the student of this precious Guru, like that. So yes. So it can be, for some people, it can be a very, very complicated practice. For some, it can be quite easy practice, in relation to this, the relationship that you establish as a disciple and the Guru. Then I also see as an unconditional love story. I would say this movie is also a love story movie. The love story between the disciple and the Guru. So I don't know how much Phuntsho Rinpoche loved me. I have no idea. I just believe that he loved me, unbelievably. But from my side, I know how much I love him. And I know how much I love late Geshe Lama Koncho in the equal sense of, and the love is unconditional love, even he kicked me out from his circle of mandala, I will still, devote myself without any changes. So maybe for someone new to Buddhism, maybe instead of, when you watch this movie, instead of relating to the guru devotion practice, you can also relate as a love story practice. Yeah, so something like that. So there are many things. Maybe best is you ask the question which area you want to know, then maybe I can just share my thoughts. I think that would maybe cover more area, and also each and every one of you will be happier. So you feel meaningful of it, coming to this session. Yeah, something like that. So maybe we do question and answer now.
Geshe-la, thank you so much.
Thank you
for sharing your love story. It's very, very beautiful, very inspiring. I think a perfect master and a perfect disciple come together. Geshe-la, while Geshe-la was, teaching us, telling us a story, I crossed already 4 questions of my sheet. Geshe-la must have seen it.
No, I haven't seen any questions.
So Jordana from the US was asking about, about the memory and the sense of self of, Lama Konchok and Lama Punsok. And Christina from the US, they cannot join us here live because they're in a different time zone. So they will watch the recordings. She also, asked about can Lama Punsok, remember his last life and Bardo in birth. So Geshe-la told us already. Then I would like to ask about Geshe Lama Konchok, because the whole story starts with Geshe Lama Konchok. So Geshe Lama Konchok very often is considered a great Mahasiddhi. So then the question arises, what is a Mahasiddhi, and what are there still possible, these amazing beings nowadays in this busy life, or are there somewhere in the Himalayas far away from us, or can we ourselves become a Mahasiddhi? Can we get so inspired now when Geshe-la is talking? Then I'm sure everybody's getting very inspired. But then after the session, we go back to our, busy lives, many distractions, lots of laziness, low self-esteem. I cannot do that. Yes, I have to go to Kopan and then go to a cave. Otherwise, how is that possible? So to relate, the concept of a Mahasiddhi, and a little bit, maybe a few little stories about Lama Konchok's amazing life. Geshe-la, if I could request.
Thank you. So I think Mahasiddhi in Tibetan, we call it a trup top. Trup top, trup is referring to the practice. Top is to actualize the practice. So actualize the practice here, I think literally meaning actualize the realization of the path. So, so as far as concerned with the Geshe Lama Koncho, based on the sign that he left, and not based on how many retreats he have done, how many, how many years of retreat that he have done, not based on the sign that usually the Buddhist masters, maybe in other religions also possible, the Buddhist masters of the past, like such as the Indian Mahasiddhas, Tibetan Mahasiddhas, like Milarepa, then the Kadamba masters, many Kadamba masters, like Domdamba, etc. the sign is that there's a common sign and there's uncommon sign. The common sign is the relics. When the master's body cremate, then they leave behind relics. So usually, in most cases, you will find more of the white relics or dark color relics, black kind of color relics. The sign of relics is based on the scriptures, based on especially Buddhist tantric scriptures understanding. When you realize emptiness directly, then you're able to produce relics, and that also white color relics. That determine that the practitioner during the training, the main focus practice is emptiness, and that will impact their consecrated elements of their aggregates to bring about the white color kind of relics. So again, the white color relics is, it is very difficult to explain from the scientific point of view, but from the spiritual point of view, everything understand that everything exists, by the imputation of the mind, isn't it? Every existence is a lack of inherent existence, lack of substantial existence. So therefore, everything can be actualized by direct cause of consciousness. But in our conventional understanding, even in the Buddhist philosophy, when we debate, when we try to understand cause and effect, then physical thing has to be produced by physical cause. Consciousness, the next momentary of consciousness has to be produced by previous momentary of consciousness. Physical object cannot directly, cause formless result, or consciousness or formless phenomena cannot directly produce form or productions. So now, but those are just philosophical assertion and very material level observation. But when go to deeper level of observation, then we have to explain based on the mind science. So when you explain based on mind science, then definitely from the emptiness point of view, everything is production, direct production of the mind. Then, such as the relics is a physical object, so it is a production of realization, the path. So the direct cause of the relics is not a physical body. Is in fact is the consciousness, the path, the realization of emptiness. Then there are also, subsequent relics which we witness in Geshe Lama Kunjo's relics, that from his born and producing, new pearl-like relics, many, maybe over, maybe over 1,000 pieces. I think within 1 year, I think about 1,000 over pieces. So most of the relics, we host in the relic stupa, the memorial stupa in Kopan. Then there's some relics is in the relic shrine like that. So, so from the bone, there's pearl-like physical, roundish relics produced. So those are, the cause. The physical level, there's a direct cause, which is also physical, which is the bone. But to be qualified to be relics, it has to be result of the realization, the path, not the born. So something like that. So then Geshe also produced quite a large number of black and brown color relics, but comparing to the white one is much lesser. The black color relics or the brown color relics is the sign the practitioner during the training, their main focus practice is altruism, bodhicitta, or compassion. Not necessarily has to be bodhicitta. It can be just compassion, because there are such relics also produced by solitary and hero realizers, such as the Hinayana practitioners, those who do not practice altruism, but they practice emptiness and they practice compassion. So there are many great high monks, they produce relics, and there are also some black relics. So you can relate that those black relics are the result of the cultivation of compassion. So because of from the sign, now you see that the practitioner is already actualized the direct realizations of the actual path, the emptiness. Then you become top, tuba topa. So you are masita. So that's one thing. Now, uncommon sign is the sign of actualizing the tantric higher path, such as the generation and especially completion stages of the path, which when you achieve the complete completion stages of the path, you determine that person is in fact realized Buddhahood. That sign, usually the masters leave is heart, tongue, and eyeball. So in Tibetan words, it's tuk jak chen sum. So not very common, but again, it's common among the Mahasiddhas, common among the Tibetan and the Himalayan Mahasiddhas, those who engage in tantric practices. So the Geshe Lama Kuncho, he left the whole eyeball, one eyeball, another eyeball we didn't find, but one eyeball, the complete eyeball, and complete tongue, and the complete heart. In, I don't know how many hours, I have no idea, about three or 4 days of 24 hours burning by huge fire in a seal oven. The cremation stupa is like a seal oven, And for ordinary people, the wood that we use, can burn, 5-6 bodies, but we use that much wood and that much butter, more than, can use for many cremations, many number of cremations, but we use for burning Geshe Lama Kunjo's body. And all his, of course, the body, disintegrate into ashes. Of course, there are some bones, but very much in ashes. So in the ashes, in the ashes, at the end, when we search, we found heart, tongue, and eye, and that also fresh heart with still got a blood, the wetness, and a certain part is quite kind of like hardened, but then certain part still got blood. Then the eye, the ball stick on one of, must be this bone stick on here. And the eye veins are still there. Then the tongue, the whole tongue, it's not like it's someone cut and put that like that. There's no kind of sign of cut, but the whole tongue there. So when Geshe Lama was staying in clear light meditation before he cremated, his mouth was open a bit like that. So you see eventually, his tongue is no more there. We saw that gradually shrinking, but then later, like almost like the tongue is maybe completely shrink like that. But in the cremation, the whole tongue, the outside, we found like that. So maybe for ordinary case, maybe what's a big deal, isn't it? In one way, it's like quite a surprising and quite amazing, because the whole body is burned, but why not burn the heart? And heart, eye, and tongues are even more fragile than many other parts of the body, isn't it? More fragile than our skin, I guess. So, so then the ashes is very, of course, in the ashes, even the wood ashes, when we put our dry finger, the whole finger will be, the ashes, isn't it? Attached with the white one, isn't it? You put your finger there, yes, but the heart, tongue, and eye cannot stain by ashes. It's just like clean. It's just clean, come up like that. So now, so based on the tantric treatise, when someone actualizes the 2 stages of the path, as I mentioned before, generation completion stages of the path, then during the cremation, they will leave behind their heart, tongue, and eye as a sign of they have actualized the path, and also to inspire their disciples, the path is true path, and the realization is definite. As long as you practice, you can achieve it, and they leave this kind of sign. Even relics, like Buddha left the relics. Many great masters have left the relics is for the followers to get inspired. The practices are not just a word. It really can deliver in actual result, and the result is not just to produce a relics, but the definite result is the enlightenment, the liberation from the contaminated aggregates, and who do not want to achieve that, isn't it? Just to achieve just a pearl like of relics, I think not so big deal, isn't it? Maybe you can rather go and buy precious gem, maybe more valuable. But the definite the result is the liberation from samsara, from the delusion, and how wonderful to be liberated from delusions. All of us, either of the delusions, very, very frequently bother us, isn't it? Either anger, either attachment, either jealousy, either ego, pride, depression, this and that. When you get liberated from all these delusions, is fantastic, isn't it? So if by practicing Buddha Dharma can able to achieve that, oh, that's yummy. Why not? that's wonderful, because money is not really solving this problem of clearing the delusion. Then getting married also not really solving this problem. Having children also not really solving this problem of delusion. Then just spending money and go holiday, changing all the time places and different food, also not really solving our delusion, the problem of delusion. And if the wisdom that Buddha have shared, and through learning correctly first, then confirm yourself through contemplation, really to get to understand the teaching, then meditating on it, and bringing into application as a tool of guideline in our day-to-day life. It's very much like getting a new pair of glasses, the fashionable one, the new pair of glasses of Buddhist teaching, very fashionable one, and you wear that lenses and you experience the world, you experience all experiences, good and bad, and that is the application of the practice. That's the thing that which which make you realize the truth. That your glasses will make you to see the clearer things, isn't it? So anyway, so yeah, my point is, well, then why not? Practice the Dharma. If you can deliver that, isn't it? So that's one thing. So okay, what is that? Yes. Then the heart, tongue, and eye, gradually the heart form into a shape. So many people, start to see things, again, could be their own kind of imprints or imputations, some say this, some say that. But majority, see Mother Tara, the complete structure of Mother Tara. If you have visited Nepal and if you have visited the self-arised Mother Tara in Parping on the rock, then that similar image you can see on the tongue. So the tongue, inform into a Tara image, including of stretching one of her right leg out, like that. Then the Koban, the ex-abbot Lama Lundu, he always see Lama Tsongkhapa into that tongue. Yes, look like Tara shape, but I still kind of understand it is Lama Tsongkhapa. So anyway, just the shape, then it really looked like a Tara, like that, So again, from Buddhist culture, then we understand as a self-arised Tara. As far as concerned with the heart, then of course, eventually it dry up, then, it shrink a bit of size, quite a bit of size. Then it produce quite a number of red color relics, quite a big size of bloody color relics. And all the relics, initially is as fragile as like a how to say, like water bubble, like that. But then eventually, it formed very hard. And there's a saying, the relics when you first form is very much as a fragile like a butter. Once it's formed, is harder than a diamond. Harder than a diamond. So when you get to feel those relics, you can feel, initially it's just accidentally touched, it just many disappeared, or many went onto dust. Then eventually it is really like hard, like a stone, like that. So then the eye, it also dry up, then it is showing into size. It's still there, but it's, not as big as when we first found. So this is so when someone realizes the realization on generation and completion stage, then you have not only Drupa top from ordinary path, you Drupa top from the tantric path. So you really become tantric Mahasiddhi. So something like that. Make sense?
Amazing, Geshe-la.
Oh, by the way, of course there are the tantric treatises in the sutric scripture. There are explanations and teachings on the relics, but more on the tantric treatise. Then during the time, the one of great Nyingma master, Chotrul Rinpoche. So he's expert in all this. So myself and some other sangha, we brought some relics, and we show to Chotrul Rinpoche and request his opinion on this. So Rinpoche explained, very much what the tantric treatise explained. Without any hesitation, this is a sign of, enlightenment. The practitioner have achieved enlightenment. The 5 color of relics is a sign of achieving the 5 Dhyani Buddhas state of enlightenment by purifying the 5 impure aggregates through the tools of the path of emptiness and altruism. So generally, the purpose of practicing the Buddha Dharma is to purify our impure aggregates, our impure, impurities, the negativities, isn't it? By then also taking initiation, by practicing Tantra, whenever we take initiation, especially high Sukhi Tantra initiation, very obviously, we receive the initiations of 5 Dhyani Buddha, always initiated by the 5 Dhyani Buddha in any initiation. And that is directly targeting to open, to provide the access into the high Sukhi Tantric practice of the antidote to purify the 5 aggregates and bring about the absolute purified state of the 5 Dhyani Buddha. So whoever achieve Buddhahood, they achieve the purification of their 5 aggregates, which is the 5 Dhyani Buddha. Even in the tantric symbols, the 5 Dhyani Buddha crown, that what you wear, it is the sign, and it is the auspicious sign, future for oneself to achieve the full enlightenment, which is the state of the 5 Dhyani Buddha. So the 5 colors, even the Shakyamuni Buddha, in some countries, you can witness the 5 colors of its relics. For some places in India, in Nepal, certain holy place, they have only the white color. But I think maybe in Thailand or I don't know, somewhere, you can witness 5 color relics. So in actual fact, the Buddha did produce 5 color relics, which is the sign of achieving the full enlightenment. So based on that, Trungchen Rinpoche, emphasized that this master, I think Geshe-la never met Trungchen Rinpoche before. I think they never met. So straight away, make a aspiration, make a prayers, pay respect, and says this is a sign of achieving the enlightenment. So like that. So from there you can say without any doubt, it's a Mahasiddha.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Very, very inspiring. Geshe-la, may I add that if people are interested, they can see Lama Konchok's relics in Kopan Monastery. There's still the exhibition, probably after Corona.
Yes.
When Kopan opens again, they can still see them up in the building. And maybe Geshe-la can share a few, because I think many people have seen those relics or relics around the world, and they have very special experiences. Many, people have special experiences, or they see light coming from the relics, and the relics also multiply, as Geshe-la mentioned already. Maybe Geshe-la can share a few of these, observations.
So Kopan, we created a small, relic shrine. So there you can visit anytime. Usually, most of the relics we put in a closed dome. So I thought that Geshe-la, produce this for people to accumulate merit, get inspired, get connection. In Buddha's teaching, Buddha himself said that in future time, when his physical being is not around, then when you view his relics, the viewer will receive the same benefit as viewing him, meeting him directly in person. So thinking of that, and Lama Tsongkhapa also said like that. So decided to have a relic shrine, and also did a few relic tours, and there are also a few pieces of the Geshe Lama Kongtrul relic with the Maitri relic tour. I think that Maitri relic tour went around the world, so many people must have seen that. So anyway, if you happen to visit Kopan, then anytime you just I think the key is with the office, I think. And there's, I think, one caretaker. I think so. I also haven't been to Kopan almost 3 years now. So yeah, and also those who are in India, just 2 days ago, yes, just 2 days ago, from Ladakh, there's one institute called Ngari Institute, which is also very close to Tibetan Lama Zopa Rinpoche and the Geshe who established this institution, also taught philosophy in Kopan. So he met Lama Kongtrul before when he was in Kopan, and he also witnessed the relic. So he was very inspired, and he now built a monastery and very much going to host a massive teaching from the Ganden throne holder, Ganden Rinpoche, coming July. So he been asking from a long time to invite Geshe Lama Kongtrul relics and exhibit in Ladakh regions, because there are so many devotees that. So the Geshe-la's main objective is Geshe Lama Kongtrul done so much Nyungne retreat. So in Ladakh region, there are so many people, do Nyungne, but I think now new generation, I think is getting less and less. So he thought, I think the relics will inspire them. So I'm just thinking this 2 days, kind of go back and invite the relics to Ladakh in July. So I think thinking about spending about 2 to 3 weeks in that region. So in case some of you happen to be in Ladakh around that time, most likely, maybe 75% confirm. So anyway, yes. So now, okay. So when I did the relic exhibition in Malaysia, so there's a group of scientists. They are from China. They say they are scientists or something like that. So they carry quite a lot of equipment. Then they didn't, we didn't really let them touch directly to the relics. Just put even near to the relics, the equipment, and there's a kind of bar, go 100%. And they put to the living human like us, not going 100%. There was some sudden. I think my one is quite bad. So anyway, then they can, the closer they bring to the relics, the more the intense energy. So they were very amazed. They said that this round little thing, what you call as relics, got a full life force, more than a living human being. And all of them are very amazed. So that's from the scientific point of view. And later I was kind of inspired, maybe for the benefit of the normal world to get understanding of relics. I thought to engage, the science to investigate. But then later they will surely, smash the relics, and touch the relics. So I thought, I said, why you need to do that? Even Buddha's relics, didn't do that, So this is about spiritual thing. When people karma ripen, when they have faith, they will receive benefit. When your karma is not ripened, even Buddha appear directly in front of them also doesn't really work. So I said, better not. So then I decided just keep as it is. From the spiritual practitioners, there are many great masters, such as like Dugu Khyentse Rinpoche's reincarnation, and then the great Nyingma master, lineage called Ramjam Rinpoche. And during the first period of the relic shrine is open in Kopan, before we open the relic shrine, when the relics is in Geshe-la's own room, many great retreater from Parping, from Ladakh, some are even from Tibet, quite a large number of lay practitioners, Sangha practitioners, they came. And the inspiration that they got is, for many, is like speechless. And only one word said, now I clear entire my doubt of the practice that I'm dedicated. Now I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life in the retreats. Many have, when they pass, when they go after seeing the relics, many have say like that. So the inspirational impact to the practitioner is unbelievable. Because many of them they already know the teaching, the Buddha have talked about the relics and their benefits, and for them to see in today's time, our time, especially Geshe Lama Kuncho, he don't carry any title. He completed his Geshe. He was designated as a Geshe, but he didn't do the ceremony. He didn't carry Geshe's name, but he was called as a Geshe. But he's ordinary monk. He was in the retreat. He never talked about his retreat. Even within our FPMT, like most of you know, Venerable Rubina, how pushy she can be, and when she was in charge of Mandala magazine, she tried, year after year, many times, asked Geshe-la to speak about his realizations, his practices, and he says, I'm just one ordinary individual. I'm no different than the Gopan two dog, the Gomchen and Makala. There's a huge two dog came from Tibet. I think Lama Yeshe bought. He said, I'm no different than them. They are special. I'm even not like that state. So he said there's no benefit. And even Venerable says that to inspire the world. There's so many people will be inspired. He said there's already exists Milarepa's story. If Milarepa's story cannot inspire people, how my story going to inspire people? So Geshe-la used to be very straightforward. He said, you just want some new stories on the magazine. He said, no need. So then later, when Geshe-la was in overseas, and through someone, not by directly Rubina approaching him, we thought that we get some story. Then we got one small story, which is again very much talking about the two dogs. And people ask, oh, you are great practitioner, you're great Lama, you may have some kind of your own circle of friends who are great Lama. He said, no, my best friend is the two dog. And I have a very little monks who are very, very comfortable with me. I have no special friends, out there like that. So he kind of completely, how to say, in Buddhist teaching, when it comes to especially tantric samayas, and especially to do with the realizations on the path, it's not to pronounce. You can show in the deeds, but you don't kind of claim that I have this realization, that realization. So I think Geshe-la really preserved his precepts perfectly until the whole life. So then, which equal like the past Buddhas and Mahasiddhas, after you pass away, then show by the sign, show by the deeds. which are all the relics, etc., like that. So anyway, yeah, I don't know whether I answered the question or not. Yes, inspiration. So when we go to see the relics, if we know some, basic understanding of the significance, will be even more meaningful, or at least someone there who understand the relic keeper can able to explain, and it would be more meaningful. Otherwise, it's more about like curiosity, which you may find amazed, but then when it comes to inspiration, maybe nothing much can do, like that. So I think I suddenly remember one of the questions from the first one, how we ordinary people in our busy lifetime, whether we can able to practice like what Geshe did, and whether we able to become Mahasiddha or not. Definitely we can able to practice like Geshe. We can able to become a Mahasiddha. Why not? Whether you are in the West, whether you are in Asia, whether you are a monk or lay person, man or woman, young or old, when it comes to Dharma practice, it's very much about, can sum up by your dedication, your joyous effort, and your irreversible commitment and irreversible faith and conviction in the practice. Then whatever amount of practice as long as you do with those few mentioned elements, you can achieve the realization on the path. When you achieve realization on the path of realizing emptiness directly, or actualizing genuine, bodhicitta, you are Mahasiddha. And you can practice that anytime. You see, again, not necessarily that you need to only stay in a retreat kind of meditation. If you have opportunity, that would be the best. If not, whatever lifestyle that you have, as long as your heart become Dharma, and the Dharma making sure become a path, then that will make sure deliver enlightenment. Then Mahasiddha is for sure. The title is definitely there. So anyone can practice. Even I would say, even those of individuals there who even haven't taken refuge in Buddha Dharma Sangha, who have not become Buddhist yet, but as long as you understand and you value, you cultivate the wisdom of selflessness, selflessness of ego, selflessness of selfless from ego, selfless from attachment, selfless from aversion, then you very much kind of live, completely detached, live in the idea of detachment, live in the cultivation of detachment, relating every experiences with the mind of detachment. So that is emptiness. And that you can do even without refuge in Buddha Dharma Sangha. Then great compassion, you can practice altruism without even having refuge. You have the heart of unconditional love, unconditional compassion, unconditional empathy to rest of the living beings. Start with the humanity and animal. If you're able to live like that, bodhicitta will be born into you. You become bodhisattva. You see. But if you take refuge, there is an advantage. If you go into retreat, there's a privilege, there's an advantage. If you become sangha, there's a privilege, there's advantage. The more the vow you take in a Buddhist commitment, there's an advantage. There's a privilege. But that doesn't mean the rest of the others, cannot achieve enlightenment. Everybody, the nature, everybody carry the Buddha nature. Everyone born with Buddha. The only thing is need to discover that, awaken that, isn't it? And the tool can be so many different. And the journey can be some for long, some for short. So you practice, all the common path, including tantric and including going to retreat, then one lifetime enlightenment be possible. But if you don't do that, maybe it takes a little bit longer journey, longer time, but eventually you will reach there. So something like that. Okay, so maybe now I try to answer a bit quick because it seems like your time is finishing, isn't it? So whatever question you raise, and I try to be more quick rather than elaborating it. So hopefully that I can answer all of your questions.
Oh, Geshe-la, you answered already another page. you can. I think you can see all the questions I've written down here. Geshe-la goes one after the next. I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you so much, Geshe-la. So I think what Geshe-la answered, we don't have to go off into the cave, into the Himalayas, to become a big Mahasiddhi. It would have an advantage, maybe, at some point, but in our busy lives, in the West, wherever we are, India, wherever, we can do it. We just have to start. And we have to have some joyful effort and some devotion based on reasoning, and we can do it.
Yes.
And yes, Geshe-la, I think this is what many people wonder now. It's like, how do I put it into practice? How do I start? Is this just something one can do as Tibetan or as Nepali, or being, born in a Himalayan region? One person wrote, like, why are all reincarnations, Asian, or why don't we have Western reincarnations? So there's still that distance, kind of, a little bit of an exotic. Buddhism is something a little bit far away. I have to go to the Himalaya, otherwise no chance. Yeah.
Just to interrupt, Venerable, reincarnation, you and me also reincarnation. The only matter is whether we label enthroned, recognize and enthroned or not. I'm also reincarnation. You're also reincarnation. Everyone is reincarnation of their previous life. And there's some of the masters. They choose to. The community choose to recognize. There's also reason, because they have disciples, they have organizations, the monasteries, require their continuum leading of their followers. So because of that, most of the head of the monasteries, organization in Tibetan tradition, there's a great, culturally great benefit. Is very much kind of like the disciple will very easily follow your master, isn't it? In our Buddhist culture, in Tibetan Buddhist culture. So even though the whole body normal, but in order to sustain the disciples and the organization, when you have the reincarnation, without any doubt, everybody will follow sustainability. There's a great benefit. But then certain culture, like in Theravadan culture, like Sri Lanka, Thailand, the amazing realized masters out there. But there's not much. There's almost none reincarnation system, like how the Tibetan and Himalayans would do. But they have this system of elderly taking. My battery was almost went over. So suddenly kind of like black off.
Oh no, our karma is running out. Please, Geshe-la, stay with us.
So what I mean is that it's very much of the culture, whether you have this reincarnation system or not. So in Thailand, you don't see them. whoever is become senior, and that, followed by the next one, like that. Then, like myself, there's no benefit of recognizing reincarnated Lama. I have nobody to, I'm just perfectly fine, stay alone myself. No need to link here and there, nobody doesn't make much difference. But otherwise, yeah. Then in the West, or in other, other than Himalayas, definitely there may be, definitely possible. Once you have the ability to choose your parent, ability to, pledge the request by the disciple that, when the disciple say, please return back as a reincarnation, and when they have the capability, say, yes, I will. If they have that kind of confidence, that means they have ability to emanate more than 100 over bodies. Even when you achieve part of accumulation from the five path, even before realizing eminence directly, just have the bodhicitta and achieve the path of accumulation of bodhisattva, you have a ability to emanate 100 bodies. So now the many of the reincarnate lamas, especially those who see that, the relics, as I explained before, already achieve above path of seeing. So can imagine thousands of bodies they can emanate. If the disciples want, we can go and we can go and find it out. But sometimes it can be complicated, because if you have a two, if you have one organization, if you have one throne, then because the reincarnate, even though reincarnate master be enlightened, but the environment is still samsaric being, can be quite complicated, and we can see that in the world, even with very high lamas, there are 2 or 3 reincarnate lamas, and then after that they cannot agree to each other. Then all the delusions and politics are involved. So it doesn't mean that there's no reincarnation of these Mahasiddhas in the West, or there's no reincarnation of Mahasiddhas in the female form. They may be infinite. I may be one of them, even though I'm not recognized. You may be one of them. The only thing is you are not recognized. You can already see that how much inspiration you have in Dharma, even though you are born in non-Buddhist family, non-Buddhist culture, but from very young that you have so much closeness with the Buddhist teaching, so closeness with the Tibetan lamas. Where did this come from? It has to go back to your previous life. You must be one great monk, or you must be one ordinary monk, doesn't matter, or one great nun, or one ordinary nun, or can be one lay meditator in the cave, without any doubt. Even I can say that. Even I can recognize that. You see, so therefore, yes, everywhere, and not only that, this great master, they even emanate as a bridges, as a tree, as a wind, as a plant. So human, no question, you see. Yeah, so definitely. And I think some of you even felt that I'm not belong here. I think I belong to somewhere in Tibet or in Himalayas, And the moment you visit the place, the moment you saw the cave, the moment you see that particular Lama, you feel like, I know him. I know this place for a long time. Where is this coming from? This is not bluffing, this is real. You see, and this is your previous life, and you are reincarnation of someone there, Yeah, like that. I was also one time says I was reincarnation of one master, one Kadamba master. But that one is, some people say, and I don't feel it, I'm just ordinary person like that, And Geshe Lama Kuncho himself, he was previous, I think, Tijan Rinpoche and also some other lamas. He's one of the great Kadamba masters reincarnation. He is almost, I think, the third life. Basically, not enthroned, not recognized that way. And just because of Phuntsho Rinpoche is recognized, he is like Masida, and very much like the whole thing started from Lama Phuntsho. Actually, he must have already practiced long time. So like that. Okay.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la. We don't want to take too much of Geshe-la's time. There is one question
I'm okay.
I would like to ask for all our benefit, because Shuki, he's driving in a car now in Israel. You might be familiar with him. I'm not sure if he can ask the question directly, but he's saying that he's following Lama Khonchok's and Lama Phuntsok's reincarnations lives last 25 years. And he is wondering how Lama Phuntsok is doing, and will he teach us Westerners at some point? And yeah, Geshe-la, if Geshe-la could tell us a little bit about Lama Phuntsok's upbringing, and now you are in Australia. You are in Australia, but Lama Phuntsok is still at Sarah Monastery, I believe. But a little bit of his upbringing and why he spent so many years in the West also. And we assume there was a greater purpose behind that, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Phuntsho Rinpoche, he is in Sarah right now. He's doing very, very good with his health and also his education. You know, he just graduated one of very important from three major big steps. So he have completed 2. Now only Geshe is left. So that's the Rikshung, which usually very honored. From his classmates of that year, 16 best students will be selected. So Rinpoche was consistently for past 5 years. He was always high distinction in philosophy, either 1, 2nd, or 3rd. Otherwise, most of the time he's the first in his class circle, and he loved the subject, and he's enjoying his study there, and right very now, since before Losar, the monastery holiday, he went into retreat. He's doing memorization retreat. Last year during Losar holiday, Rinpoche did Yamentaga commitment retreat. And before that, I think Vajayokini or Ngondo retreat. So for the past 3 or 4 years, he haven't traveled to Nepal also, and he was in Sarah. So study and going into retreat. So all these are by his own, going into retreat, all this, his own wish. And I myself, amazed, surprised, shocked, relating him as a young boy, teenage boy, and not possible to go into memorization retreats and Yamentaga retreats, and he's also putting a lot of effort to receive transmissions from few teachers who once a while, in Sarah, usually they conduct, beside philosophy, they conduct initiation, oral transmission. So he take every opportunity to receive as much as possible. And not only that, immediately conduct retreat. And Geshe Lama Khoncho is one of the ways that I was told that when he was in Tibet, whenever he received any retreat, without parting even one day, he will start the commitment retreat on that day and complete it, the commitment retreat. So he never delayed doing commitment retreat. Let's say we will do 1 month later, 1 year later. So this is very special to Geshe-la. And I see this force, inspiration in Phunzo Rinpoche. Because, whole throughout the year, have to study. And that short holiday, at least like you hang around or go to visit your family, etc. But Rinpoche rather wanted to do the commitment retreat, and it would take at least 2 weeks to 3 weeks. And it's a very intense retreat, conclude with the concluding fire puja, etc. So, so these are inborn, and I would say it's Geshe-la, you see. And many other monks and lamas, including his teachers, are so pleased, and he's so blessed. And because of he showed his own side interest, the teachers are also paying extra attention to him and guiding him. During the Yametaka retreat, one of his main teacher, literally, guiding throughout all the retreat. So that's amazing. And all these are so important and so helpful for we disciples, like myself. In future, when he start to teach, or even now, if I need to ask Yametaka initiation from him, he's ready, because he have received the initiation, he have studied about the sadhana and the commentary, and he done the retreat. So that means he's qualified in this tender age, you see. So before, and also the transmissions, in Buddhist culture, there are so many, almost all the teaching, in order to really receive the impact of blessing, we need to receive the transmissional blessings. As for Tantra, we need to receive the initiation. As for Sutra, we need to receive the transmissional blessing through commentary or oral transmissions. And these young lamas, getting ready that now is very much for us, you see. So, and yes, he definitely will teach, everywhere, wherever there's a people or organizations, sincerely, one Dharma requesting teachings from him. Just a matter of time. He can teach now, but their requests is coming in from different our FPMT centers, also non-FPMT centers. But I haven't passed the request to him at least for some year. I feel it, because I went through the journey in Sarah. I want him to, carry on with this consistent pace of his gathering all the knowledge, teachings and practices, and also one of the other reasons is I feel at this stage we are so fortunate. We have abundance of teachings from our living gurus like His Holiness Lama Zopa Rinpoche, all your other spiritual gurus. They are already out there, dedicated their entire time for giving teachings. So we have abundance. So I felt that the young one reserved for later, and when the time comes, but I think within these few years, during his off days, maybe can do short teachings. But usually, whatever major moves that I take, I usually seek advice from Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And if Rinpoche says it's good time, and if possible, I will also seek blessing from His Holiness. I think I would definitely seek blessing from His Holiness and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and of course his other very serious, tough teachers in Sarah. One of the teachers is the Rinpoche, and then Rinpoche, very, very serious, very tough. Whenever you go to see him, there's no hello. Immediately you have to. He will ask you test. He will test you. So we always freak out to go see him. We pray that we don't have to see him. So sorry to say that. It's so tough. So anyway, yes. Yes. So I've no any extra kind of request from Rinpoche, what he's doing now, it's already, my head is explored, what he's already doing. So I just pray for his long life and happiness, good health, and continue. And yes, in future, definitely, he will serve, our organization, FPMT organization, definitely. So like that. So yeah, he came to Australia for a few years, and that was very much my initiative. I felt that before dedicating full time in extensive monastic study, and before reaching teenage, I felt that it's necessary to explore the world and understand the outside world than the monastery, and live as an ordinary child, not as a lama, not as a monk in the monastery. And I felt that when he reached age of 9, I think, I thought it's the best time. He can analyze. He have the capability to, the analytical, capability, what comes in his way, as well as he's not distracted by, puberty. He's not distracted by teenage kind of, the changes. So that's the reason that I bring him to Australia, and send him to ordinary normal school, wear normal lay cloth. I outwardly treat him like a normal kid, no Rinpoche, didn't show any aspect of like you're a monk, Rinpoche, just ordinary kid. Need to do homework, if you didn't do, you get some lecture, and yes, and you need to eat whatever I as a, act as a parent, whatever I can afford to pack for school bag, you have to eat it whether you like it or not. In monastery is your Rinpoche, everything will serve according with what you like, it's you are the boss, isn't it? So here, you are not the boss. You are just a little school kid. You are dependent, on the parent, like me. So I thought this is very important to understand, and also it's very important for him to mix with the ordinary kids and listen to their view. Nowadays even little kids, they really carry a very strong view, strong character. Strong opinions, and he have to face that, you see. Then also the way we live, we try to live really, under kind of like a very strict budget. I think last time also, I think I share, like I bring him to go and buy onion, gozuri. Then that time he used to be quite chubby. So we walk for many different stores, Indian store, Chinese store, and then the different type of stores, just to compare the price for onion. So walk for about like half an hour to 1 hour, and he's very tired. He said, why you just buy from the first shop, why you need to walk all the way down? But then you come back all the way just because of 5 cents difference, So then just tell about the ordinary life in the world. The people need to, work hard to earn money. We as a monk, in the monastery especially, devotees will, offer. The monastery community will kind of take care of everything, and sometimes there's a danger we forget, the other part of the world. So all those basic simple things. Then, and I also already planned that, when he go back to the monastery, he will have much more comfortable place to live. he will have really access to hundreds of friends. Because here I say, oh, if you go with this friend, I say, are you sure, he's not doing this and that, are you sure, I mean, there are so many restrictions, you have to be careful, because I realized that some at the age of 8, 9, they have a girlfriend, And so one day Rinpoche came up and said, oh, my friend, actually his age is younger than mine. He has a girlfriend, I said, oh, yes. I said, oh, girlfriend. Oh, I said. So I have my way to explain to him, So I said like that, is it? So basically, just to know a little bit more about ordinary life, and then, of course, give him some comparison between monastic life, Sangha life, where you go to monastery, just study, practice, enlightenment, not just dedicate love to one person, but you can dedicate love to numberless beings, and you can fall in love with the numberless beings, and numberless beings can fall in love with you, without kind of saying that you are my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend, it's so, you like that. So anyway, so then, yes. So yeah, then when he went back to the monastery, from the very first, the day that I arrived in the Sarah, then you are the boss. And this is your world. Now you guide me. Now you tell me what to do and what not to do. So like that. So anyway, now when he go back to monastery, really, really enjoying his life, and really he's so happy there. So something like that. And also have some better, foundation of English. English is the worldwide, language. So that it won't be like my broken English, He at least went through a proper school, so he have some good foundation. So next time, he can practice. He practice a little more. Then I think he can communicate very well with you people, isn't it?
Yes, Geshe-la. Thank you so much, Geshe-la. We took so much of Geshe-la's time. I could listen to Geshe-la infinite love story. We will call it the infinite love story next time.
By the way, in the movie, I was a villain. In the movie, I am the bad person, And
no, Geshe-la.
I think when I went to Nati, who did the movie, so he asked me to go to Berlin Film Festival. So then they watch in the theater. Then there's reporters. So there's quite large group of people think I'm very bad person. I'm the villain in the movie, taking child from their parent, like that. So that's good to know.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la. I think Geshe-la answered all the questions perfectly, and thank you so much, Geshe-la. And Geshe-la mentioned that Geshe-la is going to Ladakh. I listened carefully in July, so that means Geshe-la is in India, and Ladakh is not far from Dharamshala. Could we please request Geshe-la to come to Tushita very soon? We will reopen, hopefully very soon. In April, we start with non-residential courses and morning meditations, but in May, we will have residential courses in again. And it would be such a pleasure and honor to welcome Rinpoche to Tushita. If Rinpoche has time, if Rinpoche is in India, please come for teaching us or anything, Geshe-la.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la. And we we hope and pray that Geshe-la has a long and healthy life, and that Lama Phuntsok also has a long and healthy life, and that he will teach us very, very soon, and that we don't just take it as some new entertainment to hear the Buddha's teaching, but really take them as instructions and really start practicing, because yeah, it's all there. As Rinpoche said, Geshe-la said, it's all there already. We just have to take it and practice it. Geshe-la, thank you so much. And today we also had some great news. I don't know if Geshe-la heard already that His Holiness will teach again live on the 18th, the Day of Miracles.
Really?
On Friday, was just announced last night, or there were rumors last night in the Tibetan community, and this morning it's on the website that His Holiness will not just give online teachings, but will come out and out of his residence first time after 2 years, and will tell us Jataka tales live, and people can come. So that, I think, is a huge step, and opening up again, that people can see His Holiness and experience His Holiness in person. So these online teachings we have been enjoying for the last 2 years, that was very, very special as well. We could see His Holiness right there. That was also very beautiful tool, but to see His Holiness in person. So we hope that everybody can enjoy that. Thank you so much, Geshe-la. And if Geshe-la could maybe lead us in a dedication. And as Geshe-la already in the beginning, the war in the Ukraine. So there was, of course, one question from many people: what can we do? There's so much suffering, global warming, first Corona, now the war comes, and of course there have been countless wars going on everywhere in this world, and people feel so helpless, or they don't know what to do, they feel overwhelmed, they get compassion fatigue, or feel they can't enjoy life anymore because there's so much suffering around in the world. So maybe Geshe-la can address that in Geshe-la's dedication. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Venerable La. Thank you so much for organizing this, and thanks to each and every one of your time, your patience, listening me here. Appreciate it. I think the best, I feel that based on the Buddhist teaching, when there's a lot of distractions, individually, one can contribute by observing as much precept as possible. Even it can be just 1 day precept, like 8 minor precepts, or taking vows, or refreshing those of you who have refuge, at least refreshing refuge again and again. Those of you who have Bodhisattva vows, refreshing Bodhisattva vow again and again. Similar goes to tantric vows. Those who don't have all these precepts, then also those of sanghas, try to refresh, practice, be fully, mindful of their precepts, their vows, as much as possible, as strict as possible. And those of who don't have such precepts, vows, then, you can also take 8 minor precepts, which is 1 day precept, or just do observations of, vegetarian, even just 1 day, practice vegetarian. And those who, and those who are already vegetarian, which is already very good, then basically, virtually stay connected with nature, with full of respect nature and the being everywhere you go. Like what the Shantideva have expressed in the Bodhisattva Charya, which is all the Bodhisattvas would do. Yourself become like a wish-fulfilling jewel. Yourself, consecrate with cultivation of at least love and compassion to all beings, so that, and then dedicate entirety of your existence for their happiness. So whoever see me, remember me, think of me, praise me, scold me, or even cause my life, may I be only condition and cause for their peace and happiness and enlightenment. So you can consecrate your being like that, then even just one person, wherever you go, you bless the nature, you bless the people who come in contact with you. So I think this is, I think everybody can do. So I would say that. Yeah. And I think that beside that, I think I already said at the beginning, physically you can do something to overcome the war, famine, natural disaster, whatever. You can do. If not, speech. If that also not, at least cultivate in your heart, like that. Okay. So now we do a short dedication. So whatever merit that we accumulate through this session, the virtuous energy, individually or collectively, as well as those merit and virtue accumulated in the past, in the future also. Also, by understand that all the past Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Gurus, they accumulate infinite merits and virtues. So we rejoice their merit. From there, we also accumulate infinite merit collectively here. So this collective merit be complete cause for numberless sentient beings to be free from oceans of samsaric suffering. It is causes karma and delusion, and actualize temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness and enlightenment accordingly. May this collective merit be complete cause. The pandemic, the war, natural disaster, then any form of sufferings that globally or individually experiencing be overcome, without delay, even a moment. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the world leaders of organizations, and the individual who lead their family, and ourselves who lead our life, be free from all the negative emotions, such as anger, attachment, grasping, ego, self-centeredness. Fill our heart with full of immeasurable love, compassion, kindness, generosity, forgiveness, understanding, respect, etc. Then wisdom of egoless, wisdom of selflessness, so that anyone under the leadership can able to enjoy only peace, happiness, and virtue. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the good people in this world, like such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, all the other people who work for the peace and happiness of sentient being, and like yourself, your family members, always enjoy good health, long life, and fulfill all your aspirations accordingly. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the virtuous institutions, monasteries, nunneries, Dharma centers, and especially here, the organizer in Tushita Meditation Center, always be free from inner outer civil obstacle, and actualize all the conducive conditions to preserve the Dharma and virtue in most extensive learning, as well as a realization on the stages of path accordingly. Then may this collective merit be complete cause for each and every one of us, be like the past Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and our gurus, in the service of numberless sentient beings, peace and happiness that start with yourself, then to your family members, then to the neighbors, and then to all the humanity and all sentient beings. Always relate to them altruistically. Then finally, we understand the dedicator ourselves, the merit and the purpose that we dedicate, all lies in the nature of emptiness. all lies in the nature of interdependent rising. So therefore, just a matter of time, whatever we practice, accumulate the merits, even the merit that we just dedicated, nothing will be wasted. Everything will fruition, just a matter of time, because nature lies in the interdependent arising. Nature lies in the emptiness. Thank you very much. Please take good care of yourself and take good care of each other. Okay? Thank you.
Geshe Geshe-la cutting chain.
Cutting chain. Cutting chain. Cutting chain.
Thank you so much.
Geshe, take care.
See you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, everybody, for bearing with us. I'm so sorry that I went over time, but I just couldn't cut it off. And I see many people agree. Geshe-la is so inspiring, and he has so many inspiring stories, which one is really, it's hard to hear them, usually, and now we have them right here online. So I was really trying to get, some stories for you to inspire us all. In these times, we need so much inspiration, isn't it? So thank you so much. And thank you to the translator, Venerable Punsang, into Portuguese. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pamela, for organizing everything, our tireless director, running the Zoom meeting and everything else. And if you wanted to enjoy more teachings by Geshe Zopa, please, it's all there already. We hosted Geshe-la last year for a teaching on the 8-point mind training, a Lojong text. Remember, people who attended previous teachings, Shitsuma said Lojong, 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 so needed nowadays in these difficult times, So Geshe-la led that. Geshe-la led quite a few online teachings for our sister center in Bangalore, so it's all on the website. And he's still running online teachings, I think, in Australia and worldwide. So it's really easy to find out where they are, and you don't have to come physically to India. You can enjoy it all from the comforts of your home. I know it's, sometimes, of course, it's tempting to have it in, in Dharamshala, and it's beautiful. But, if we can't be in Dharamshala, then we can do it all from home as well, as Geshe-la reminded us. So thank you so much. And tomorrow we have our last teacher out of 14, the last one, and very, very special. Tsogkhan Tsenchab Rinpoche is a very high Lama, very close to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Don't get deceived by outer appearance. As Geshe-la just reminded us, Buddhas come in all kinds of forms, so check him out. We think he is very special, and Rinpoche is joining us for the last 2 days of the teachings at 4 o'clock Indian time. Please tune in again, and remember also, we just talked with Geshe-la about it, His Holiness the Dalai Lama will give a very special online teaching for the Day of Miracles. That will be Friday, and at Tushita we will have a special program with Medicine Buddha Puja, led by Venerable Droma in English, and a ceremony to offer butter lamps. So if you wanted to have a butter lamp offered at Tushita, tomorrow is the deadline. Pamela? Yes. Otherwise, very difficult for Pamela to produce all the butter lamps overnight. with a time difference, especially if you're writing to us from the Americas, then it's almost in the evening already in India. So please write by today would be best if you wanted to have a butter lamp offered, and you can dedicate for your loved ones, and we will offer that in India. So if we can't be physically there, at least there will be a light burning. Yes, thank you so much, everybody. And Geshe-la also talked about the Mahayana precepts on our Chotrul Days of Miracle page, which you find on the homepage. There's also the ceremony of the Mahayana precepts, how one can take them. Lama Zopa Rinpoche gave them, and there's a recording of it, so you can take the precepts from that recording and take Mahayana precepts, especially on Friday, the last day, the day of miracle, the day. Thank you so much, everybody. And enjoy your day wherever you are. In India, it's evening. Good evening. In Americas, you're just starting the days. Here in Europe, it's lunchtime. Please enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just put the link for donation or Padalam offerings, just in case if anybody write tonight or today. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.